Welcome to the March 29, 2011 meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority. May we have a roll call, please?
Authority members: Draymond.
Here.
Friedman.
Here.
Mincy.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Parazian.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Chair Quintero.
Here. May we have your report?
Agenda for the March 29, 2011 regular meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority was posted on Thursday, March 24, 2011 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
What's next?
Next is oral communications. There were no cards submitted for the Housing Authority.
Okay, and we don't have any minutes, so we will move on to item 6A. Would you read that into the record, please?
On the business agenda at 6A is Director of Community Development regarding Dorian Gardens Affordable Housing Project Marketing Plan. At 6A1 is motion accepting the marketing and sales plan and application scoring sheet as subject to authority direction.
Mrs. Starbird.
Mike, you rose. I assume I'm going to you. Mike Fortney, Community Development.
Put the one up there.
Good afternoon, Housing Authority Board members. I'm Mike Fortney, your Housing Product Manager. The item I'm presenting today is the marketing and sales plan for the Doran Gardens Affordable Housing Project. We put together a quick PowerPoint presentation for this. Wait for that to load up. The first slide, staff's recommendation is to approve the marketing sales plan, which was attached to your staff report, as well as this application scoring sheet. Let's give you a quick update. The Doran Gardens Affordable Housing Project is a new construction 57-unit affordable housing project. It also has 3 existing homes that are going to be rehabilitated. It breaks down to 5 one-bedroom, 34 two-bedroom, 14 three-bedroom, and 4 four-bedroom units in the 57 new. Construction right now, they are on the first floor framing, so the subterranean parking structure is complete now, and the first floor framing is actually almost done too. All 57 of those homes will be sold to moderate income home buyers, and then the 3 existing homes that are being rehabilitated will be sold at market. And then the project also includes the half-acre open space, which will be developed at the end of the project. Originally, the construction was scheduled to complete first quarter of 2012, but they're actually ahead of schedule a little bit, so they could complete close to the end of this year. So they're expecting first escrows to close in the first quarter of 2012. And then we included just some pictures of the construction. Now, that's pre-construction there. That's the half-acre. That's where the half-acre open space is going to be. The next slide shows construction status there. That's before the subterranean structure went in. 112 spaces, I believe, in a single-level subterranean parking structure. And the next one shows a good aerial view of, I think when I was here before, we were showing the big trucks there that we had, huge amount of concrete, I think 1,850 yards of concrete poured for that subterranean structure. And this picture, that's probably a couple of months ago. The next picture shows the actual framing going. So, and that's probably 10 days, maybe 2 weeks old. They're almost ready to go to the second floor on the framing now. So it's really going really well. The next slide is talking about the target population for the project, the 57 units that will be reserved for affordable. So it's up to 120% of AMI, between 80% and 120% of AMI is the moderate income. And to give you an idea what that income range is, it's anywhere from $46,000 to $52,000 for a single person, all the way up to $71,550 to $81,650 for a 5-person household. And I just wanted to point out here that residents and folks that work in the city of Glendale will be given priority on these units. The next slide talks about, and this is estimated affordable housing prices for the units. For a single bedroom, the total contract price is $390,000, but the affordable price would be about $223,200. That's subject to change. 2011, I apologize, 2012, HUD will update the numbers for income. The interest rate that the prospective home buyer gets on that's going to affect the price as well. And then you can see the Housing Authority seconds for each of the unit mixes. And then we were awarded, 2 years ago, I think, $5.2 million from Begin, and that is the third mortgage for these. So That's really about it for there. Next slide. Okay, so because this is a for-sale project, there'll be covenants for 45 years on them. Our rental projects are 55 years, but redevelopment law requires 45 years for for-sale product. Both the developer, Heritage Housing Partners, and the city, or the Housing Authority more accurately, have a right of first refusal on the units. And then there's also an equity share requirement. Both of those are in place to make sure that the units stay affordable. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. Okay, so talk a little bit about the marketing. There's pre-sale marketing via email, Heritage Housing Partners website. We didn't list it, but the city's website as well. Social media, there's actually a Facebook page that you can go to there. There's the languages listed there: Armenian, Tagalog, Korean, and Spanish. Heritage says they have already over 500 persons on their list, registered on their list. I just wanted the report actually specifies, and the marketing plan also specifies which newspapers, community groups, but I thought I'd just mention them here. The Glendale News Press, and I'm probably going to pronounce this incorrectly, Asveras Daily Newspaper. I hope I was close on it. Le Opinion, The Sentinel, Korean Times, and Belita. And then as far as different organizations, churches, neighborhood associations, the Armenian Relief Society, Catholic Charities of LA, the Verdugo Job Center, Glendale Latino Association, Minuteman Glendale, Ararat Chapter, the Glendale Unified School District Healthy Start, Glendale Chamber of Commerce, Glendale Family Self-Sufficiency Coordinator, the Filipino Business Association of Glendale, and Glendale Unified School District Elementary Schools, plus civic and or fraternal groups, and then there'll be public service announcements on KLAX, KRLA, Channel 690 AM, 107.5 FM, local television interviews and presentations, New Vision television program, GTV6, and then Housing Authority meetings like that. So just try to talk about some of the marketing efforts that we're going to be making on this. Also, we've identified some of the larger employers in the city, including the city of Glendale, but then we'll also make presentations from the Chamber of Commerce, Nestle, International House of Pancakes, ABC, Channel 7, Disney, DreamWorks, Kaiser Permanente, even Forest Lawn, Mortuary, Glendale Unified School District, the Verdugo Hills Hospital, Glendale Memorial Hospital, Glendale Adventist Hospital, Department of Social Services, and any other large employers, human resources meetings. So any large employer that we could think of in the city, we're going to give flyers and information on these units as part of the marketing. The next slide actually shows a sample flyer and sample ad, and that is attached to your report as well, so you can see it in better detail. But it really focuses on the things that I'd covered a little bit earlier about the income range for the folks that we're targeting, as well as the expected sale price of the units. The next one, home buyer selection. So the pre-sales marketing, which should kick off April 15th, so immediately or almost immediately after this hearing, focus on driving the prospective applicants, home buyers to the internet list. Anybody can apply for the project or come to the city or come to Heritage and actually get a paper application, but a lot of this is going to be done electronically as well. And then, interest list members will be notified when the application is available. I spoke about all the ads that will be placed in the newspapers and the specific marketing that will be done with respect to the outreach. And again, the application window is April 15th and it'll last for 60 days, up to June 15th. The next slide is these are estimates, but it's expected total application pool, just to kind of walk you through the process of going through the applications. Heritage Housing Partners expects anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people to apply for the project. It's a huge number. From that, they're expecting, from that they'll look and see who's actually income qualified and who actually meets the definition of a first-time home buyer. They think roughly half of the people that applied will probably drop out from there, go on to the next one, which would be a pre-mortgage approval. From that, there's going to be some folks that are going to drop out from that. And then the candidates moving forward, it's the folks that they're really going to work with. They're going to do interviews with, we're guessing, approximately 180 of the candidates. We have a scoring sheet, which I'm going to show you a little bit later, because each applicant will be given a score. And then in the case where we have more, say, as an example, we have 5 one-bedrooms. In the example where we have 8 people with the exact same score and they're all looking to get a one-bedroom, then we would go to a lottery process. So in the lottery process, we would determine who would be the primary prospective buyer, and then we would have backup buyers for those units. And let's see, the next slide. So the application submitted during this initial application window, that's the 60-day period starting April 15th. Eligibility and financial capacity. The scoring sheet will be, I believe it's the next slide, so I'll go through that. There'll be the interviews for those top applicants, and then the priority list will be established. So we can see the next slide. I believe that's the scoring sheet there. So what we did, we came up with a maximum score of 100 points. We wanted to give preference to anyone living or working, and even better, someone living and working in the city of Glendale. We definitely want to give priority to anyone that's been previously displaced by any RDA or housing authority activity. So they would get 15 points there. If you're a resident and you work in the city of Glendale, it's 30 points. Or if you only reside, 15 points. Or if you only work, 10 points. It doesn't add up. If you reside and work, you get 30. If you do one or the other, you can only get 15 or 10. But we thought it was really important to emphasize somebody that both works and lives here. After that, efficient bedroom utilization, we're going to give points to folks that we would prefer not to see an individual go into a 2-bedroom unit. We would prefer to see an individual or a 2-person household acquire a 1-bedroom. So we're giving points for appropriate household size. That would be 1 or 2 household members larger than the unit. So on the case of a 4-bedroom unit, we'd prefer to see 4, 5, 6 people in that. We'd rather not see a single or a person or a married couple getting one of the 4 bedrooms. Although we're not going to preclude that in case it comes down to that. And then there's also points for readiness, their ability to put 5% down. And the 5% down is based on the affordable price, not the fully lien value. Credit score and their debt. And then we give bonus points for very high credit scores, over 771 points, as well as evidence of community involvement. So that's the scoring sheet that we're going to rely upon to whittle down the number of applicants. If we're right, and there's between 500 and 1,000. So with that, staff recommends approval of the marketing sales plan and the scoring sheet. If you have any recommendations, particularly with marketing and things of that sort, of course, we're more than happy to.
Any comments or
make
questions?
Amendments.
Ms. Friedman.
Just have a quick question. The right to first refusal that we would have, is that only after the first home buyer, or is that for any subsequent buyer?
No, it's a very good question, and it isn't. The first home buyer has to be the moderate income. In the first 7 years, Heritage Housing Partners, because of the new market tax credits with part of the financing deal, Heritage Housing Partners will almost certainly exercise their right of first refusal for that first home buyer. But it's going to once the first home buyer sells to either Heritage Housing Partners or the City of Glendale, we would then enter into new agreements that would start it all over again. So it would in fact apply to every subsequent home buyer.
And so would the excessive, I don't remember what you called it, but where they can't make a huge profit
Right.
from reselling, does that also go with every subsequent home buyer?
Yeah, and that's a kind of a complicated formula. I can walk you through it.
No, that's okay.
Okay, but basically what it is for the first 5 years, it almost makes no sense to sell it in the open market. You would make about as much money if you sold it to another moderate income, or you sold it to the city or the Heritage Housing. After 5 years, it goes down a little bit, your equity goes up a little bit, and every 5 years thereafter, until the 45 years where you own it full, all out, and you could sell it at market. So it's a gradual step down every 5 years.
Right, so that 45 years is for the life of the apartment or the life of the buyer?
Both. It would, if the buyer stayed in for 45 years, or if it continued to sell, it would then be part of the unit. It would go with the unit.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Najarian.
Couple questions. Who actually is going to be doing the marketing? Is that going to be coming through our department, or is it going to be through Heritage?
Heritage Housing Partners is responsible for the marketing. Housing Authority staff would be responsible for the oversight of the marketing and assist wherever we can.
Okay. Previously, on previous types of housing, we were told that you can't give Glendale residents a priority because of the use of federal funds. You can't discriminate against people that live outside of the city limits. But I see that one of our major point factors is Glendale residency. How?
Yeah, if I could defer to the city attorney on that.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, members of the Housing Authority, I think the restriction is on when we use of the home funds. This is funded with the new market tax credits as well as our set-aside, and so those restrictions wouldn't apply.
There's no. What is the? I know you've got a blend of units, 1 to 4 bedroom, but what's the average per unit contribution that the city is making?
About $140,000 per unit. Yeah, if you multiply or divide, it's 140, 141,000 off the top of my head. I could actually crunch the number and give you an exact number if you want. It's 57 units divided by the total amount we put in. The total amount we put in is really $8.4 million, but that's through construction. But permanent financing, I believe our total contribution is 8.1. Works out to 141,000.
Are you satisfied that the way this deal is structured, that it's a fair deal for all concerned?
I really am. This unit, or this deal is very good for the city. All the money that we put into it is backed by that second mortgage, which is great. We also, I was saying earlier, we got the third mortgage from Begin, that's Begin money from the state of California. That was $5.25 million. If these units ever sold, that money would also come back to us. It's not money that we'd have to repay to the state. So that money would also come back to us and be deposited toward 20% set aside. So it is a good deal for us.
So it's fair to say you have no reservations about recommending this project at this point. I know we're quite well along the road for us to approve. This is, in a sense, the marketing plan and the scorecard, but you're happy with the deal the way it's structured?
I have no hesitation making a very strong recommendation in favor of this project.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I've really been looking forward to this project for a long time. One of the reasons is that when my wife and I were first married in 1958, our very first apartment was 353 West Doran. And you are calling it the Doran Gardens, not the Duran Gardens, right?
Doran Gardens.
Very good.
Are you claiming an interest, Mr. Mincy, in that lot?
With the somewhat bleak housing market, what happens if, in fact, we don't sell all of the units?
Well, yeah, we'll have to cross that bridge, but we have to repay the state RDLP funds. We have to repay the Heritage Housing Partners is on the hook to repay the construction loan. So those, I mean, it's a very good question. But those loans will have to be repaid.
They could, in fact, be rented until notice, right? Or
that isn't something we've ever really talked about. But
I mean, I don't think we're going to have a problem. I think we're going to be able to sell them out. But
no, at the affordable prices that we're selling them at, I don't think so either. But that is something we could explore.
Comments or questions? Okay, well, I think it's a great project. It's going to be perfect for the neighborhood, and I'll need a motion.
Move second.
Roll call.
Authority members Draymond?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Mincy?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Trazian?
Yes.
Weaver?
Aye.
Chair Quintero?
Yes. Next, please.
Thank you.
At B is Director of Community Services and Parks regarding recommendation to approve the Salvation Army as a new project sponsor for the Homeless Child Care Program formerly operated by New Horizons. E1 is motion approving new project sponsor and authorizing the Executive Director to enter into operating agreements and sign all necessary documents pertaining to the transition.
Mr. Starbird.
Yes, and I'll go to Jess Duran, Director of Community Services. Jess?
Thank you, Mr. Starbird, Chairman Quintero, members of the Glendale Housing Authority. One of the projects in the Glendale Homeless Continuum of Care is a child care program for homeless families. And typically these are families that are participating in our emergency housing shelters and programs in Glendale. Since 2000, the Homeless Child Care Program has been operated by New Horizons, and as we all know, New Horizons in January closed its doors. The program entails a $20,900 allocation of federal supportive housing program funds, or SHP funds, to serve 5 homeless children at any given time, or 14 unduplicated youth from school age to age 15 by the end of the 1 year of the grant term. And as a result of the closure of the New Horizons Child Center, the city contacted all existing child care providers already working with the city about assuming the program from New Horizons. We feel very fortunate that one of those agencies willing to step up to the plate and responded to our request for interest is the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army is a qualified organization with demonstrated capacity, and they are willing to assume the program. They already operate a CDBG-funded program called the Zone Program. They've done so for probably 7 or 8 years, so they have a lot of experience working with the city and our requirements and our reports. The grant term is from October 1 to September 30. Luckily, New Horizons had only expended $900 before they closed their doors, so virtually the entire grant will be available to be assumed by the Salvation Army. Therefore, at this time, we're requesting the Housing Authority approve the transfer of the Homeless Child Care Program to the Salvation Army and authorize the city manager to execute a subrecipient agreement with the Salvation Army. If you have any questions or need additional information, we do have Captain Rio Ray of the Salvation Army here, as well as Yvette Sanvalian, who is the city's homeless coordinator.
Okay, the chair has stepped down.
You're running the meeting.
He's back.
Oop, that was fast.
I needed water. Okay, are there any comments or questions? All right, well, I think this is the appropriate agency. They've been around for many, many years, do a wonderful job, and so I'm happy to hear they'll be stepping in the shoes of New Horizon. Do I have a motion?
Move 6B1.
Second?
Roll call.
Authority members: Kramer,
Yes.
Friedman,
Yes.
Mincy,
Yes.
Natarian,
Yes.
Barazian,
Yes.
Weaver,
Aye.
Chair Quintero.
Yes.
Thank you.
What's next?
Next is authority member and staff comments.
Any comments from the authority? Staff? I hear none.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.